so this is actually really funny. I had just pretty much been rambling for about 10 minutes on the episode and realized I was not actually recording. So now I have to remember all I said. But I have a better handle on what I want to say now. So so this is the second video to my Supergirl premiere video. The first one has not been uploaded yet. I've been having some trouble with correcting the format because it's recorded on my webcam to get to YouTube. So this is my review to the show. I completely enjoyed the episode. It lived up to my expectations of being just a good-hearted. No, it was not as good as premiere as Flash and Arrow, which I'm going to talk about in another video. All three of them together. Probably I'll make it tomorrow morning. Kind of as they're all together. But yeah, it was a good episode. I loved Tyler as Clark. He had this very funny wit to him, and he seemed much more like the cartoon Clark. Like, if you ever seen any of the old Justice Leagues and stuff, like, just very quick-witted and not serious completely the entire time, but also at the same time being serious. Like, I can see him as being a fun character to play and to write for, because he has all these quick one-liners, and Kara's relationship with Clark was perfectly done, because someone was talking about, they were talking, like, I was on Twitter, tweeting during this, and some people were talking about, like, oh, they seem weird, and I'm like, no, like, they seemed good, because they're close cousins, like, and I liked that moment of, they talked about, like, Alex knows him, because I'm pretty sure he probably was around a couple of times during Kara's life, like, I mean, they've been messaging for months now, and, like, there is a closeness to them. They're definitely, they're cousins, but they're definitely more like siblings. Like, there were moments where you could tell he was proud of her, and I loved, everyone had a ball with that I changed his diapers line, because it's true. Like, you always forget that she actually is the oldest, technically born-wise, but he is, however, the oldest now. So there is a little interesting dynamic, and they're more like the same age. They're more like twins, kind of, in that sense. But yeah, no, it was a very fun review, and I loved the relationship. So, a little bit about my thoughts on the episode. I kind of have it organized. First off, because it started with him, the mysterious stranger in the pod. It's Superboy. I don't know who they're kidding. It has to be Superboy, what everybody thought. I do have a theory, especially now that she broke up with Jimmy, which is a completely different rant. I don't know why that happened. It just did. But yeah, no, I feel like that was out of the blue, the breaking up. But the reason why I feel like they took Jimmy away with Kara and them being friends is because I feel like she's going to have a fling with Superboy when he finally wakes up. I don't like that, but that's going to be the thing. I don't know if Superboy is going to start off like evil and then become good or whatever, or if this mysterious stranger is even Superboy, but she's going to have a fling with him. It's going to be quite natural. One of the other things I thought was really, really cleverly done, there were several things I liked. First off, about Tyler's character, I loved when he meets all of the DEO agents and he starts shaking everybody's hand. Because it's like that good, like, because if you're from the Midwest, like, he kind of views the DEO as like servicemen, as in like army men. So you applaud army men. So he's like, thank you for your service, because like they're part of the government. So he's like thanking all the soldiers. And it just seems very like all-American boy to me. And I also love Alex's and Kat, and I love Kat's reaction. Like, Kat totally has a crush on Clark Kent, which is a little weird, but he is very, very attractive. I'm a little disappointed that she didn't tell Kat that they were cousins. I thought that would have been a really funny moment if she had been like, because you're like, oh, how did you not tell me you know Clark? And Kara would be like, I didn't know you needed to know who my cousin was, or something along that lines of. I thought that would be kind of clever. But I guess maybe she didn't tell him because of, like, obviously, like, that. So more indicator told she's Supergirl, although Kat totally knows that she's Supergirl. Speaking of Kat, the ending with Kat, if you have been paying any attention to any of the review stuff going up, you know that the actress who plays Kat did not move to Vancouver. So everyone moved to Vancouver. She didn't. They arranged to do things, so she's going to take a break on the show. I have a feeling that she was talking about seizing the moment. Kind of. I have a feeling she's going to go on, like, a sabbatical, or she's going to, like, go to Africa, or, you know, some kind of trip just to get her away for a while, and then maybe, like, phone in her videos. Might be, like, doing it by Skype or something, like, with maybe a couple scenes or something with her in an episode versus her being actually there. Which I could see happening. Because she is such a character that you need to keep her in the show. And they can't get rid of her super easily, but they need to do something, like, if she's not going to be moving. But yeah, no, so that's one thing. Win was another one. I don't like the idea of, I like the idea of him working at the DEO, but I didn't like how they executed it, excuse me. I feel like they completely executed it very wrong. I feel like they should have mentioned the idea that he, like, quit work at Cat because, like, I thought, and I feel like he quit work because of Banshee, because of, like, that's where he met his ex, and he really, really loved her, and so, like, he couldn't be around, like, that office and stuff, which I completely understand, but him just randomly, like, helping them out on a mission, and then randomly getting a job is completely weird. But it works. I like that idea because he's way too smart to work for Catco, and it also gives him an excuse to do those science things versus, like, before he was definitely not. The new base. I like the new base. If you know anything about CW likes giving bases to people. And so the new base is good. I think it will work better as, like, an office. So they won't really have to use their, like, 3-person hidey hole anymore. They'll be able to actually use the DEO, which will make sense, especially now that Clark is kind of in the mix and stuff. But yeah, no. So another issue I had with Clark, I just looked at my notes for a second. I have a feeling there's something up with Clark. Like, he came to the rescue, and I understand him staying to help with Lena Luthor, which is another ramp. But he has some alternative motive. Either there's something up with Lois, like it seemed like they were the perfect relationship. Either they're having some issues, or maybe he is having, like, doubts of, like, maybe he wants to marry Lois, and he isn't quite sure how all that's going to work, especially since he has no family. Maybe that's kind of like he wants to start having a family, and he feels like he can't be in a family if he doesn't have one. So maybe that's it. But there's something. Either he's trying to keep an eye on Lena Luthor or something. Lena Luthor, played by Kate McGrath. If you've never seen the show Merlin, it is phenomenal. And she plays a very interesting character on that show. And she's kind of playing a very similar character on this show. I want to believe Lena Luthor, there's definitely something up with her. Like, she's very suspicious. But they're making it kind of way too obvious that she's the bad guy. You know what I mean? Like, they're playing off that Luthor. I don't know if she is yet. I don't know if she's going to become the bad guy. She's really trusting, which I thought was really interesting, that she completely, like, just trusted the reporters. But I guess maybe that's just because of her new image and stuff. But I have a feeling that the person, I want to see that the person, this is what I want to see for the bad guy this year. Because we still don't know who the bad guy is. I want to see the bad guy being Lex Luthor. If they had another, like, female villain and have Lena be the female villain this year, that would have been, like, very, very womany, which is something totally, like, sorry, I'm playing with this, but totally on the show, be a little bit too much. I want to see Lex Luthor be the bad guy and, like, have Clark maybe know about that, or, you know, something like that, since they made a quote about, like, Lex Luthor being in jail. That would be kind of really fun if you kind of play along with that. But yeah, no, I really, really liked that. she's killing it also as Lena Luthor. Like, she's killing it. I'm really glad to see her, like, on another show, because she's such a good actress. But yeah, no, she's such a cool, like, character. It's fun. It's fun. Sorry, I heard something, but yeah, no, she's fun. What else? What else happened on this episode? There's a lot. About halfway through the episode, I think I tweeted, like, we're only halfway done. Like, there was so much in this episode versus, like, which I wonder if this is, like, the CW going, like, oh, this is our new direction, or if it's just the CW putting a lot of effort, is, there's, like, 4 climaxes in this episode. You've got the climax with the, spaceship, like, not the pod, but the actual spaceship crashing. Then you have the, like, confrontation with, like, Lena. You got the actual fight in front of, like, the Oscorp, in front of the things. Then you also have the helicopter flight, and then the other fight. Like, there were, like, 4 or 5 fights in this episode, which I thought was, really, like, they were really well done. But it was also, like, whoo, very, very packed full of information. The ending also, which was incredible. Like, they did a good job. CW, it looks good. CW is doing a good job. They're keeping it light. It's very much like The Flash. It's still very light. It's still very female driven, which is something that needed to be done because this is, aimed mainly for younger females. But they're doing a good job with it. Like, they're still keeping the humor. They're still keeping the quirks. You can watch it at any age and get, like, a lot of enjoyment. Like, there were a lot of funny lines. Like, the line about basically implying that, Clark Kent, Superman, and Lois are having a threesome was very interesting. And was so subtle that it, like, went over, like, a bunch of kids' heads. But yeah, no. And I liked it because it's kind of true in some sense. I also wonder, because at this point, I wonder if, I think Lois knows that he's Clark Kent. That he knows that Clark Kent is Superman. Because, like, he mentioned, like, being with Kara and stuff. So, like, she knows, obviously, like, he has a cousin. And, yeah, that kind of seems very, and she, like, immediately knew he was with Kara. Like, I think she knows about it, which is why I also think that there might be some issues with Paradise of maybe, like, continuing the relationship a little bit deeper. I'd be interested to see if they bring Lois on the show, which would be so cool. The Gotham quirk. So I was also having a thought. I wonder, because we know that, so we still haven't seen in the DC TV. We have not seen any other than Ra's al Ghul. We have not seen any, like, Batman people, as far as I know. I wonder if Gotham, because this is an alternate universe, I wonder if Gotham is actually a, like, Gotham, or if it's a, like, is it bad? Is it good? Is it actually a safe place? Because that family was like, oh, we're moving back to Gotham. So if Batman is actually in this movie, I don't think they're ever going to bring Batman into Supergirl. As far as Batman, I don't know. They brought Clark Kent, and I never thought they would bring Clark Kent actually in. But they might bring in, like, Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy would be a fantastic villain to have on Supergirl. I feel like there's a lot she could learn. Or, like, they might bring in Batgirl. That would be kind of cool if they had Batgirl come in for, like, a little quote. But Batgirl needs to be younger, obviously. Or, like, one of the Robins, or, somebody like that would be kind of fun to have to play around with. But yeah, no, it's interesting that there is Gotham. We've not really heard any kind of Gotham in Arrow or Flash references. Which is another rant of mine about what they should have done with the DC movies, but that I'm not going to go into that tonight. But yeah, no, about a 15-minute video on now and reviewing about an hour episode, so that's pretty good. But yeah, no, it's really good. Like, the entire, like, episode was on point. Like, there was never a moment I felt like something was overdone, or, like, was confusing, really, or, like, something that really should have been changed, other than, like, small things. So yeah, no, I'm happy CW took over. they're doing a good job with it. They're keeping it funny, keeping it straight, keeping it back to its heart, but also improving it with like the action is a lot better. Dialogue even is a little bit better, I feel like. Not quite so feministic with like the emphasis on like her all the time. But yeah, no, I'm really excited to see what this season. I didn't watch the preview for the next episode. I do know that within a couple episodes, they're apparently bringing in Wonder Woman, which I think I mentioned in my preview. I am not entirely sure what's going to happen with that. It seems like they're kind of building toward a Justice League, like in the TV show. And I know that DC Legends of Tomorrow is dealing with like the League of Justice, not the Justice League. So I wonder if the ultimate crossover, thinking about it, is going to have to do with the Justice League, which would be freaking awesome if they actually had like an episode where they like kind of like form a Justice League without calling it Justice League. I wonder if. Okay, so if you had been watching anything, apparently Stephen Amell tweeted that for the 100th episode of Arrow, they were going to have a very special guest. What if? Oh my goodness! What if they are building for a Justice League episode with all four being Justice League? And what if like the special guest is like either Superman or what if it's a Batman? What if they actually have a Batman and make Justice League for 4 episodes? Which would make sense because then they could go back to their separate like plot lines that are going on. Obviously, Batman doesn't have plot line unless you count Gotham. Oh my goodness, that would be so cool if they actually did that and kind of make a complete episode. That'd be fun. I don't know. I have to, yeah. That'd be cool. But anyway, that's probably about what's going on. But yeah, no, I don't know. I think that there is going to be a lot of fun, interesting stuff this season. With all of them being housed on CW, I feel like all of the writers are currently like meeting all the time, going, okay, what can we do? What can we do? What can we do? Kind of like the evil like people. I think they're honestly DC should probably kind of tone deaf on the movies and focus on these shows because these shows are awesome. Like they're just fun. Like your heart gets pounding and you're just like ah. I didn't scream in this episode. I screamed during the Flash last week. Like, probably about 4 or 5 times. I'm not ashamed to say it was so good. But, yeah, so I probably should go, because I got some things I needed to do. But, yeah, no, so I like Supergirl. I hope you did too. So stay tuned. I will be posting another post of the blog tomorrow, or today, depending on when this video goes up. So that's about it. So stay tuned, and I'll keep you updated with the next couple episodes of the Arrowverse, or the DC CW verse is what I think people are calling it now. So, bye.